as we count down to the country's 50th birthday. We are now just 4 days away. And Bahamian music in my soul. Tonight is your last chance to catch the Independence Night Market with performances by the best in local entertainment. Plus, before you bite into your morning meals, find out what nutritionist Donovan Ingram has to say about what's on your breakfast plate. And fins up as we slide into fun for the family at the Margaritaville Water Park. Our news this morning comes your way right now.
Live from Margaritaville, this is Our News This Morning with Nakia Christie and Andrew Knowles.
Good morning, Bahamas, and welcome to Our News This Morning. Thank you for waking up with us. I'm your host, Nakia DeVoe Christie, and I'm so excited to welcome my co-anchor, Andrew Knowles, to the set. Good morning, Andrew. Welcome.
Good morning, Nakia. I am so excited to be back here and to join you on the set. You know what? There's only few things that can get me up at 4 a.m. in the morning, right? And so the Our News family called, and I'm here, and so I'm happy to be back.
It's been so wonderful having these mini reunions with all the familiar faces of our TV back on the desk as we count down to the 50th independence and celebrate 20 years of Our News. And we are happy to have you all at home waking up with us to help us properly celebrate these two major milestones in our collective histories.
That's right, Nakia. Like I said, I'm so excited to be here. And so many people have been commenting about the show already, you know, and how wonderful it's going. Looking forward to it. So it's going to be another great show.
Yeah, and Andrew, you know, you are a weekend warrior, right? So I started Weekend News, and you took that mantle, and you did Weekend News for so long, and we really have to be warriors to handle that every weekend.
Being on the weekend, it isn't easy at all, right? Trying to find the stories to go after, you know, but we made it happen.
We did make it happen. And they're still making it happen at Our News. So.
Right.
Now, Andrew, we kicked off the show at the top of the week with Jerome Sawyer. So we since had Giorgio Bain and Kyle Joaquin. And I've been asking everyone the same thing. What's been that moment that just makes you so proud to be Bahamian?
There's just so much, right? So when I think about John Canoe, our cultural expression is like none other, right? Then the achievements that we've accomplished. I mean, as a small country, I mean, the amount of Olympic gold medalists that we have. When we talk about, you know, the Rhodes Scholars that we have, there's so many other notable achievements that we've made. And then just the freedoms, the simple freedoms that we have that we take so much for granted. When people all around the world are, you know, face so many, what's the word I'm looking for? When they go through so much, right? They're being persecuted. Sorry, it's early in the morning.
Yes,
when they're being persecuted for, you know, their religion and everything. And then too, like this time, I just enjoy the independence music that we have. You know, we were talking about independent Bahamas, Bahamas, and then too, what the other song is now?
Independence Morning.
Independence morning is like a baby borning. What is independence without hearing those songs,
exactly.
Right? And then we have to talk about the latest song. That's just the anthem right now. Nassau is the capital, Bahamas. Like, you know, it's a very entertaining songs. But you know, I mean, it gives you the little facts that you may forget, right? The little simple things that you should know, but you forget. And so, you know, if you're in school, you can sing that song. If you're doing social studies, you know, Nassau is the capital. So it's the capital. That's what you do.
And you know, Andrew, all the things that you talked about, you know, we are a small and mighty nation, but also a colorful and fun and funny nation, right? We are funny people, a proud people.
We love a good kiki.
Yes, yeah. We do. And we've had nothing but beautiful views from Margaritaville these past 4 mornings. It's been a real blessing to watch the sunrise as we get the day started. We're almost at the finish line at our week-long broadcast, and fingers are still crossed that the sunshine continues. We had some showers this morning, but look at outside right now.
It's turned out to be so awesome. I was a bit scared I wasn't going to make it because it's just a heavy downpour, but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure Greg may have put in a call to the man upstairs. Greg Thompson joins us now for your first look at the forecast.
My red line to the man upstairs is a little off this morning. We have some thunderstorms to the south of the capital. We show that in our radar. But yeah, it's a beautiful morning. We did have some overnight showers. The roads are wet, so we want you to be careful out there if you're doing traveling into the office this morning. And we are likely to see a couple more showers as we have the northern extent of a tropical wave approaching us. We'll tell you all about that a little later, but 79 degrees, humid outside still. Your winds out of the east-southeast at 5 knots. Your sunrise was at 6:24 this morning. Sunset time will be at 8:03 this evening. In the radar room, we see a couple of showers, as I mentioned, just to the south of New Providence. Some thunderstorm activity as well associated with that. Some other showers approaching the Long Island, Cat Island area, as well as San Salvador, Grand Bahama, Abaco. You're seeing some smattering of some showers out there. But we are going to keep the instability across our area. As our satellite shows us, some showers and isolated thunderstorms continuing across the chain of islands. Most of that activity, as I mentioned, is associated with a tropical wave that's moving to the south of us. But at the surface, high pressure will be in charge. We're looking for some very nice boating conditions, beaching conditions, pretty nice, but it's going to be hot out there, so make sure you stay hydrated. Back to you guys.
We'll see you a bit later for the extended weather forecast into the weekend as we count down to independence. And speaking of, we've been outfitted by some notable Bahamian clothing brands, Bahama Handprints, I as a Bahamian, and once again this morning, Bahari. So you've seen the gentlemen in these beautiful Bahari jackets. I had mine on Monday. So our thanks to all of them for helping us look our best selves every morning. Their story is also part of our 50-year history. Isn't it amazing how these brands have just become household names?
It certainly is, and I love how Bahamians are just embracing them, right? And it's always good to see every year they seem to step it up, with the creativity and the lines that they come out with. And I was saying just to someone the other day that I want I as a Bahamian by t-shirt, I want a Bahari polo, and I wanted a Bahama handprint shirt. And just being here, I was able to get all of them, so I'm happy.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I've been getting a lot of comments on what I've been wearing here, so hopefully we'll see a lot more ladies in some of these brands. But I've seen the Independence fits for weeks now. People have been wearing them.
All right. Well, and speaking of stories, we're just getting started in our news this morning. It's time now for your first run of the headlines. A Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marine who prosecutors say shot an innocent bystander during a bar fight has been granted $15,000 emergency bail. Prosecutors allege 21-year-old Marine seaman Andreas McPhee seriously injured 20-year-old Lashando McIntosh during a shooting at a bar on West Bay Street. McPhee has to report to police 4 times a week as a condition of his bail. He's expected back in court on September 22 to be indicted. He has since been suspended from active duty pending the outcome of his case. North Abaco Member of Parliament Kirk Cornish apologizing for recent comments at an independence event in Abaco, in which the first-time MP said he was the Prime Minister of Abaco, adding the only other authority above him is Prime Minister Philip Davis. Cornish doubled down, saying, "You better get used to it." In a statement, Cornish said he sought to make the point that it is his privilege and responsibility to implement cabinet policy in Abaco and sincerely regrets the way he expressed the point. Meanwhile, Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands, harping on the assertion by the North Abaco MP, he chastised Cornish's behavior as out of line and said he needs to go.
It's time for you to sit small. You have given us insight into just the kind of person you really are. So, you have the power to fire. Notwithstanding the threat, show us the authority in the law. Oh, better get used to it. Oh, you really feeling yourself?
Was recently questioned by police over abuse allegations. The matter is still before the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Abraham Lincoln was correct. It's cheaper that you kept your mouth shut. Now let's see if the DPM and the PM are going to run to your rescue.
And many eyebrows were raised this week when Central Grand Bahama Member of Parliament R.M. Lewis was seen demonstrating with the Coalition of Independence on Tuesday. The fringe political group recently protested in front of the office of the Prime Minister, demanding Immigration Minister Keith Bell resign after an audio clip of the minister granting citizenship to several people at a funeral went viral. But Lewis now on the defense over his participation.
I did it for my country, I did it for my people, and I tell you, as long as I have a voice, I will continue to do it on behalf of the people. So it's unfortunate that persons are trying to put a spin on this. I know better, and those who are objective will know that we as Bahamians, we need to put our colors aside, take the political divide away, and solidify our effort, galvanize our effort in an attempt to save our country.
And residents in North Andros could be without power for some time after what Bahamas Power and Light officials say was a catastrophic blaze at a power point in Nicholstown. Engineers now working on a restoration plan. Resident telling Our News the setback is the latest in a string of issues.
We've been having issues with this power plant for a little while. Sometimes it comes on and they have to be sharing the load and stuff like that. People have been going through a lot of suffering with this power station. And hopefully they could move it out of the settlement and put it in a different location.
Well, thanks for that, Andrew. Be sure and stay tuned to ournews.bs for the latest on this. It's such a sad situation there with that fire, but I really hope that they can get power soon. It's one of those things really taxing on families, and hopefully they can get some relief.
Right, and then for it to happen at this time of the year, the summer, hot, like I can't think about that, what they have to endure, and it's been so hot. Yeah. So hopefully they're able to get that rectified.
Yeah, I know they're working on it, so let's hope so. Now, Andrew, we've had a running debate on the set this week, so of course we're going to bring you in on it. The question is breakfast or lunch? Which one must you have? Well, for me, it's both, but which one do you have to have?
For me, it's definitely breakfast. I need a good breakfast to start my day. So I get up, I do my eggs, I do my tuna and grits, and yellow grits, of course.
Perfect.
But I have to have a good big breakfast. Lunch has to be light, because if I eat too much, the itis is going to set in.
Okay.
And ain't no work and get done. So.
All right, so we'll hear a little bit about that. We've been trying to help the audience with nutrition this week, and based on what you eat for breakfast, we might be helping you too, asking them to consider what's on their breakfast plate. Nutritionist Donovan Ingram has been hanging with our news correspondent Danielle Miller this week, bringing us nutritional hacks to help balance our meals.
He joins us now live with a check on what you should be having for breakfast. Danielle?
Good morning, and I'm happy that we have another person in studio that takes their breakfast very seriously. And I heard you mention that you eat yellow grits instead of white, which is perfect. That's what Donovan suggested. Now, here's the thing. What is more important than what you put in your body? How you move your body. Exercising gets the wheels in your brains percolating and make sure it keeps the itis under control. So I'm so happy that we incorporated a wellness day on the road to 50 yesterday, and it was held at Goodman's Bay with your instructors, Catherine Reich, downtown Natasha Brown, Jay, and Jay from Jay Fitness. The crowd enjoyed themselves so much, from doing Junkanoo movements to stretches, and even Her Excellency Leslie Bryce was on the floor as well. Now, some of the exercises were a bit intense, I'll be completely honest, but everybody enjoyed themselves. And by the time as the workout was finished, there were free t-shirts and bags to give away. So I know that crowd had a great time yesterday. I had a great time as well. I did a little dance. I couldn't necessarily keep up all the way, but it definitely was a good time. Now, the thing about eating healthy, I had to learn the hard way a few years ago, and I shared this experience with Donovan as we sat and chat about what's on your breakfast plate. Now, being here at one particular harbor all week, I had to take you out of the cafe.
Thank you.
And bring you to the gardens for this view.
Yes.
I just think the morning set the day, and it really puts you in the mood for what is about to come. So I just wanted to give you this view.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Now, I must say you've been doing a great job informing us all week.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Now, one thing I will admit about, though, is in my 20s, I learned a lesson about trying to skip out on meals to save money, because I was in the process of trying to save for a car. It was my first job, and I only could afford like $5 for lunch a day. Now, when you talk about $5 a lunch a day, then you're normally talking about junk food. So I used to buy food from a popular fast food restaurant every day, and that's all I used to eat. And I became sick. I became sick. I couldn't eat fried foods for a year, and I remember my godmother sharing with me. She said, look, either you spend a little bit more to eat healthy, or you're going to spend way more in a doctor's office trying to get your health under control.
That is so true, because there are lots of research studies that say that when young people develop bad diets and eating fast foods, high fats, high sugars at a very young age, usually teenage years, their risk factors of developing type 2 diabetes before the age of 30 is actually tripled. So you want to make sure that as a young individual, you are making the best choices. I, from my instance, on my maternal side, I have a predisposition to hypertension and heart disease. On my paternal side, there's a risk factor for colon cancer. So I had to make those type of changes. I encourage every Bahamian, because, diabetes, hypertension, cancer are the highest cause of deaths in the country, in the Caribbean. But for us in the Bahamas, it's very prevalent. And so we got to know what our risk factors are. And based on our risk factors, we have to eat foods based on what those risk factors are. We want to be more preventative, We got to not go the cheaper route, but in a lot of cases, we got to spend a little bit more. We got to invest more in fruits and vegetables. We maybe need to start our own community gardens, in fact, Those are things that we can do as young people to ensure that we live longer, healthier lives, And as an adult, we should be setting the example.
Thank you so much. This has been another edition of What's on Your Breakfast Plate with Our News This Morning.
Thanks so much, Danielle. Great edition this morning. I love that workout session. So many people came out, all walks of life. That was great to see.
I wish I knew about it. I would have definitely been there.
Yeah, I love a group workout session. I would have been there as well. When we come back, Danielle is back with an extended look at what's on your breakfast plate and a look at chronic non-communicable diseases, what you need to know about potential health predispositions. And on the road to 50, the women's rights movement comes into focus in our moments. Plus your mid-morning run of the headlines, and Mix and Mingle is back with day 3 of the Independence Night Market. How fun! You're watching Our News This Morning live from Margaritaville. Stay with us. We're right back after this. You are looking at live pictures outside the Margaritaville Beach Resort in historic downtown Nassau. People are getting to work as we count down to 50 years of independence. This is Our News This Morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us. Well, the sun is slowly coming out over the resort, and you can see it as well this morning as we have been over the past few mornings because, with that rain, we have a little misty window behind us, Andrew, but I promise you it's beautiful in the back there.
And it'll start to clear up in a few.
Yeah, it's going to start to clear up, and it's going to get real bright and much brighter real soon. We're just in love with the view here at Margaritaville, and the past several days have just been so perfect for beach weather. And look, we've been asking everyone here, are you a beach person, more of a boat person? You brought your trunks? What's going on?
I didn't bring no trunks. I didn't get the memo. I'm definitely a boat person. I live away like 10 minutes away from the beach, but I don't often just walk and go, but I'll hop on the boat in no time. You call me and tell me you're going on a boat, I'll be there. Okay,
well, speaking of those sun activities, it's time to dive right into our next Margaritaville feature with Joshua Williams, who traded in his shirt and tie for a swimsuit as he dove into the Fins Up Water Park.
And that sounds like a lot of fun. But Joshua, tell us, how was your experience?
Good morning, guys, and good morning, Bahamas. Now, I had the chance to dive into the Fins Up Water Park here at the Margaritaville Beach Resort in Nassau. And let me tell you, I felt like a kid in a candy store. It was lots of fun, lots of laughter, lots of splashing. I also got a chance to cross something off of my bucket list that I've been avoiding for a very, very long time. Want to see what it is? Let's take a look.
A day of splashing, diving, and relaxation at the Fins Up Water Park is the simple fix for a hot summer day. Open to tourists and residents, the park is unique.
Well, I think it's our personalized service that we offer. It's, again, we're not as big as the other water parks, but I hear it from every time our guests just mention that it's just the personalized service that we offer. I get to know the customer gets to know me, and when they leave, they look forward to coming back and enjoying it. They call us family, and we like to call them the same.
The water park has something for everyone, including slides, pools, surfing, and a full beach access, to name a few. Customer service is #1, says Recreational Department Director Neville Adler.
Customer service. We like to keep these guests coming back. There's some options out there, but again, personalized services is where we think we're going to win out, and obviously proximity, it lends to our advantage as well.
Now it's time for the fun part. Join me as I dive into the Fins Up Water Park.
Just a flip, just like that. Hey, I couldn't see a thing.
During my day at the park, I spoke to this visitor who says she simply couldn't get enough.
I love it. We've been here every day for the past probably 5 days, and probably the lazy river is my favorite bed. Just like being around in there, just floating around all day. It's so good. So back home, it's pretty much raining all week. Just probably not even 60 here. Obviously, it's super nice. I would be here every day. Honestly, I love it here. So.
Finally, I decided to attempt the resort's trademark Fins Up dive that's 11 feet high.
Well, guys, let me tell you something. I became the laughing stock of the day. You know, my camera guy informed me that, Josh, that was a belly flop. That wasn't a proper dive. And you're probably wondering how I'm even standing here right now after jumping from so far. But it was a wonderful experience, lots of fun. But you have to stay tuned to Our News tonight to see the aftermath of what happened and part 2 of my day here at the Fins Up Water Park.
Oh, thanks for that, Joshua. I know you said that was a fins up dive. That looked more like a whale coming down. In any event, I am totally jealous right now. I think I got the wrong gig for this morning. I mean, why couldn't I do that? But
exactly. We should get our swim trunks and we should go.
Yeah, we need to enjoy this water park here at Margaritaville. And we've still got more from around the resort this week, as well as we're keeping you in the know about all that's happening around town as the countdown to 50 continues.
Yes, Our News This Morning correspondent Danielle Miller has been following the Independence Night Market for us for the past few mornings and joins us now with a fix of the mix. Danielle?
Good morning again. And I've been having a good time at these night markets and concert series over the past 3 nights. It's been an incredible experience. And last night, we had DJ Cello, we had the Scotch Conch Band, Bloody, and Shine. And I have to tell you, if you want to come out to the night market, especially it being the final night, get out there early. I walked from Pompey Square to Rawson Square, and the cars were lined off on Bay Street. It looks like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, to tell you the truth. And I can see why, because the energy that comes from Pompey Square in the evening is undeniable. It draws you in. You can actually hear the sounds of the band from you bang the curve by McDonald's. So it literally lights up Bay Street in the evenings. So shout out to the organizers of that event for putting that on. Again, we encourage you to come out tonight. And also, we will be out there live tonight. So if you see us, don't be afraid to say hey and do a little dance with us as well. I promise I'm going to dance tonight because it's the final night. I think I'm allowed to do that now. Tomorrow is National Pride Day, so be sure that you wear your Bahamian colors, as well as there will be an Independence Gala. And of course, coming up is the tattoo and the Junkanoo Rush Out, the People's Rush. So be sure to keep tapped in. Follow Celebrate Bahamas on Instagram to stay updated with the events that are coming up for the Road to 50. And don't forget to tune in with us tomorrow morning for your fix of the mix.
got that jump, you know. She got that jump, you know. She got that jump, you know. She got that jump, you know.
Oh man, so much fun. All those moves out there. I love some good Bahamian music. Now, it looks like we didn't get the best end of this deal. Joshua was out there splashing around in the water park. Danielle has been out there enjoying the Bahamian music and activities.
We got to do something about this.
Yeah, but so much fun.
Yeah, I saw the other night at the Independence Market. My girl, she performed. Ronnie, Veronica Bishop, that is. I love me some Veronica Bishop. What an one of the ultimate Bahamian entertainers for me.
Yeah, and they had a great lineup out there. So tonight is the last night, and I hope that you can make it out there. You don't have to wake up to come out here in the morning. I'll see if I can get out there.
So I'll party for me and you then.
All right, it's now time for a look at your morning scroll. Our news posting about the celebration that kicked off at the Junkanoo Museum with several Bahamian-themed performances at the Nassau cruise port during the official opening.
Have you had the opportunity to see?
I have not seen it yet, but it's on my list.
The Junkanoo Museum, A+, definitely. I had the opportunity to view it. Oh, it's unbelievable. I think they did an awesome job on it.
I heard it's world class.
It is. Also coming up in the scroll, we learned about the launch of a new historical app called Beyond Our Bahamas. You'll get to discover the hidden treasures of our past and present with weekly cultural insights, and you'll be able to search for clues to win social media prizes in a spotlight challenge. So I'm looking forward to exploring that because I like trivia, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I want to win something, so I'm going to look that up.
I get some good prizes.
Now, this one about Bahamian Ken Mullings, who won the silver medal in the decathlon competition at the CAC Games in El Salvador. Mullings got 8,060 points for second place, just 221 points behind the first place winner. Oh, that's awesome. Bahamians doing well all across the globe, right?
All across the globe, but I'm sure we are doing really well at the CAC Games because I think that's like the second or third medal that we've picked up so far. So kudos to Ken. And Shawnee Miller-Weibo is back. This post says just 76 days after having her child, she was back in action yesterday at the Bahamian Championships, where she contested day one of the heptathlon with 3,116 points in day one. Now,
listen, I've had 2 kids. That is insane. I mean, kudos to her. That's wonderful that she's back out there already. I could barely get up the stairs.
But in a different event, she's obviously, as the 400-meter runner, but now, it's interesting to see that she's doing that.
Yeah, now I know she was going to turn her attention there, but I can't believe that she did it so soon after having a baby. Kudos to her. Plus, this visit from Grand Bahama Island, Wednesdays are for fish fry. Savor mouth-watering Bahamian fish fry every Wednesday evening at Outriggers Beach Club on Smith's Point. Yum.
I could definitely use a good fried fish, snapper, grouper, even though it's breakfast time, but,
any time of day is good for that good Bahamian food. When our news this morning continues, we've got a check on headlines in your mid-morning run.
Plus, our reflections continues with fond memories of independence and a look at women's rights 50 years after.
And a star Bahamian athlete just back from Europe sits on our couch. Our conversation about her athletic journey when our news this morning continues.
You are looking at live pictures outside Margaritaville Beach Resort in the historic downtown Nassau. The sun is up and commuters are still on the go this morning. Welcome back to our news this morning. Here's your mid-morning run of the headlines. The trial of former Free National Movement Cabinet Minister Lanisha Roll and 3 others could happen as early as next June. Prosecutors allege Roll, while serving as the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, conspired with others to award fraudulent contracts worth more than $700,000 between 2019 and 2021, among other charges. During a trial fixture hearing yesterday, Supreme Court Justice Gilomena Archer-Mins set a backup trial date of June 17, 2024, meaning the matter will proceed if another case doesn't start. Meantime, acting Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper says the return of the British Colonial Hotel will be good for room capacity in the downtown area. Cooper says the hotel is expected to be back in business by December.
We're excited about this possibility, and we look forward to the opening. We look forward to the employment it will create, the entrepreneurial possibilities, and the life that it will breathe into the downtown area.
The Cancer Society getting a $30,000 check from the Get Your Rare in Gear Bahamas 5K Fun Run Walk. Local Director Emily Darville says the money was collected over the past 2 years from fundraisers aimed to raise awareness about colon cancer.
This fundraiser was held during Colorectal Cancer Month in March. It was the dream of my late sister, Andrea, who courageously battled colon cancer before transitioning on April 2nd, 2022. In her honor, I continued what she started, and I'm proud to say that we are here today to present a check in the amount of $30,000 to the Cancer Society of the Bahamas in our joint effort to fight colon cancer locally.
And the road to 50 continuing strong on Grand Bahama with a Golden Jubilee flag relay and flag raising ceremony. The flag landed in Grand Bahama on Wednesday morning before making its way to 2 other islands. Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, calling it a big day for Grand Bahama.
To know that, we're on this journey celebrating our road to 50, and the flag will be hoisted, of course, in Nassau on the 10th of July. We have many amazing events still planned on the road to 50. We've had a lot of events so far, and I believe the community has been embracing those events. And so we're just excited to know that, we're going to be 50 and we're celebrating in grand style.
We have come a far way when you think about women's rights. But of course, as with most things, we're still growing and we've got a ways to go. When you consider things like gender-based violence and marital rape, these issues still dominate the news cycle. To put things into perspective for us, our Sasha Lightborn sat down with former Attorney General Alison Maynard Gibson in this edition of Our Reflections, brought to you by the Bahamas Independence Secretariat.
In fact, we're sitting in the room in which they had meetings right now as you interview me. They were across all. There was no division between them at all, no polarization. Women came together across political lines, across religious lines. They all came together to fight for a common cause.
Alison Maynard Gibson was born into politics. She was only the second woman to become Attorney General. Throughout her decorated career in politics, she held key cabinet positions, serving as Minister of Legal Affairs and as leader of government business in the Senate. But at her core, Maynard Gibson has been an advocate and champion for women's rights in the country with an unwavering passion.
It is so clear, it should be clear, that Bahamian women and Bahamian men equally have a lot to contribute to our country. And to the extent that we don't have Bahamian women having the same rights as Bahamian men, we are eclipsing our opportunity as a country to fully develop.
But for her, the work is not done.
We should not sit on our laurels. We still have a long way to go. The very fact that a young woman like you, Sasha, is still asking me about it shows that we have a long way to go.
And paramount to that, she says, it's important to ensure we get more women in Parliament, more women specifically in Cabinet.
Anything worth having is worth fighting for. So I just urge young ladies who feel that they have a call to serve to step up and put your name forward, get working in your communities, get working through your civic organizations, work together with others, men and women, and make the changes that you feel called to make. That's what happened, and there's no secret to it. That's what happened with the suffragettes. They didn't run. They felt called to serve a cause, and they did.
Here's how she described a beautiful Bahamas 50 years and beyond.
I look forward to an Equal Pay Act, equal pay for equal work. I look forward to us acknowledging the importance of protecting the vulnerable in our society. That includes women and children and older people also. So these are the things that we ought not even to have any discussion about because it's so clear that they ought to be done. And I look forward to it actually happening.
Reporting for our news, I'm Sasha Lightborn.
All right, thanks a lot, Sasha. And tune in to On the Record with Jerome Sawyer tonight at 8 p.m. on RTV for a full interview with Mrs. Maynard Gibson. Well, much more to get to in a moment, but for now, Nakia is already on our News This Morning couch with our next guest. Nakia?
Thanks so much, Andrew. Well, she is Bahamian sports royalty, specializing in the 100-meter hurdles, and her medal count continues to climb as she represents us internationally now. Some of her recent accomplishments: a silver medal in the 2022 Commonwealth Games, a gold for the 60-meter hurdles at the 2022 World Indoor Championships, setting a national record of 7.81 seconds. I am so happy to be joined this morning by none other than Bahamian track star Devin Charlton. Good morning, Devin. Thanks so much for waking up so early this morning to be here with us.
Good morning. It was a little early, but happy to be here.
Yeah, it is early. So we know that you've got a lot going on. So I'm just going to start by asking you, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I mean, the season has been a little shaky for me this year, but we still have some time going into the World Championships. And so here for the National Championships this weekend, looking to clean things up and get it going.
Great. So you're just back from Europe. Tell us what's been keeping you busy over there.
Yeah, had a lot of recent meets in Europe, 4 to be exact, and had some mixed results, but you know, I think it's all going to go really well into the experience, and it's going to play well for World Championships.
And you've come back home to compete. Tell us how you feel about the return of the Bahamas Games.
It's exciting. I heard about it through my dad. He talked about how it was something they had back in the day, and it's really exciting. Would have loved to have been able to compete, probably for my mother's native Long Island.
Oh, right.
Would have been my pick, but you know, it doesn't play well into my schedule, which is really disappointing because I would have loved to have been out there.
Well, that was music to my ear, so I have to plug here that in the last, you said back in the day, which made me laugh, in the last Bahamas Games, I competed for Long Island. So, yeah, and I'm still salty that they haven't called me to compete in this one, but that's all right. So you've represented the Bahamas in so many different events, as far back as 2015 and 2017 World Championships, but I'm going to go down the list, so bear with me as I list all of these. The 2020 Olympic Games and at least 4 events in 2021. The World Indoor Championships, where you snatched a silver medal. The World Championships, where you were a finalist. The Commonwealth Games, where you also took a silver and a bronze in NACAC. So it's an impressive resume, and I'm sure there's more that I haven't even gotten to. But hearing that back, does it ever cross your mind how much work you've had to put in to get there and to represent this country?
It does, because a lot of times I think back and people ask me when did I get started, and I say 7 years old, and to think that was 20 years ago. I'm 27, and such a big part of my life has been devoted to the sport, but don't really notice because it's something that I love, and I'm doing my dream job, so I don't think of it as work.
Well, that leads right into the next question. You know, you say it's your dream job. I was going to ask, what keeps you going? What keeps you trying so hard and working so hard?
Yeah, just love of the sport. Love to wear our colors and see Bahamian people gather around and support me through it, and just coming home and seeing all the young kids that have picked up the hurdles is really exciting to see, because it hasn't been traditionally like a strong event for us, and so like to see a lot of the young hurdlers coming up and doing really well, I think it speaks to what I've done, what hurdlers like Pedria Seymour have done, so it's exciting.
Yeah, so speaking of those young hurdlers, right, there are so many little girls out there that I'm sure they're watching you and they want a career in track and field. Do you think about how you inspire them?
Yeah, I mean, it crosses my mind, because I think when they come up to me and they ask for pictures or they ask for advice and on their technique and different things, it's really like humbling to me that who they're modeling their career after.
Yeah, and the hurdles, that's a tough event. I don't think I could even get halfway up there to get over the hurdles.
I'm not coordinated at all, so I'm sure you'll be fine.
So any advice out there for young athletes who are struggling with the hurdles right now, considering the hurdles but maybe a little afraid? Any advice for them?
I would say you can't be afraid to fall. I would say you're not a real hurdler until you fall in and roll on the track a couple of times. But I think it's just something that you have to practice. You have to keep at it. It doesn't come overnight, because I look back on videos of me when I was like a young kid and my technique was absolutely awful. And came a long way, but it's just because I put the work in and did the practice.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about something that's really difficult for athletes, right? The reality of balancing your career and your personal life. You're 27, you said. Yeah. That is a prime time of life. Everyone's out there having fun, having a good time. How do you balance training, staying focused, and also taking some time for yourself and enjoying your life?
Yeah, so I think for me is once I go home, I try and do my best to find something else to take my mind off the track and field if it's a hobby. Something I've been big on this year is just taking like little breaks here and there. So if I have to get away for a weekend and just go and do a trip with a couple of friends, like just to do that, just to take a break, because it's hard to take a long vacation during the season, but I think those kind of things, it just helps reset the mind.
And this leads us right into the next topic that I wanted to talk to you about, right? So sports is physically taxing, but I don't know if people who are not involved in sports realize how mentally and emotionally taxing it is as well. And we know we've been hearing American gymnast Simone Biles talking about taking care of her mental health. And some people were very critical of her decision to step away. How important is it to take care of your mental health? Is that something that's important to you? Is that something you have to think of?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've had times where I needed to take care of my mental and like step away from track and speak with therapists and just make sure that was in check, because it is physical, but I'd say more so mental. So like I said, like taking the little mini vacations, that all plays into it. After the Olympics, actually, like mentally I was checked out. My coach and others wanted me to go back on the circuit and run a couple more meets just to like capitalize on my success, and I'm just like, no, I'm done. And so I think I'm really big on that too, like just being able to say like, no, I'm done. I'm gonna take some time away.
Yeah, and it's great to hear you say that, because you know, hopefully you could help to get the message across to Bahamians that we shouldn't be trivializing this mental health issue. That's serious. We're all affected by it, and it's something we need to take seriously.
Definitely.
You know, and we talked about the girls and young boys out there who you inspire, right? We have so many amazing Bahamian athletes. Who inspires you? What any of those greats that we've seen in the past and currently still competing that inspire you?
Yeah, I would say growing up, for me, it was definitely the Golden Girls. So much to the point where if anybody asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would say Golden Girl, like thinking that was a profession. And so I think, especially I was in Sydney when they won the gold medal in 2000. I was only about 4 years old, but still have memories of them coming home and what it meant to the Bahamian people, and just wanted to be like that.
Yeah, I can say that was also a very inspiring moment for me as well. I remember watching that live, and it's still one of my favorite moments in Bahamian history, so I'm with you on that. And now you're into athletics every day, the ins and outs of international competition. What are you witnessing that maybe we could improve to make sure that the future of sports, that we continue to be a powerhouse?
I would just say like more access to sports, because I think we have so much talent and potential, but it's going untapped because I think a lot of the kids, like it's not pushed to them as much as I think as it should be. There's so much opportunity in sports, and I don't think that we're realizing our full potential there.
Yeah, and I know as an athlete, you get to wear the Bahamas flag more often than most Bahamians, right? And even though Bahamians are full of pride many times throughout the year, I think as an athlete, you're always representing the country, always carrying the flag. And you have a lot of patriotic moments. Over the years, what has been your favorite memory, your fondest Bahamian memory? Your fondest moment? I know you said the Golden Girls as far as, you know, that inspiration, but is there something that stands out, whether it's something personal, a personal achievement, or a national achievement?
I think last year at the NACAC Championships in Freeport, when I won the bronze medal in the hurdles, I was already coming off of such a successful season, and to come home and perform like that in front of a Bahamian crowd, like that was really special for me.
And we're just 4 days away now from the 50th anniversary of independence. Like I said, you're always wearing that flag. How are you feeling now coming into this major milestone?
It feels great. I'd love to see how much the government is doing and how much the Bahamian people are participating, and it's great to see, and just want to get out there and join the festivities.
Okay, and just one last opportunity to say something to your fans out there before we wrap up.
Definitely just appreciate all the support. You know, we have our nationals coming up. First day was yesterday. We have 2 more days of competition. It would be really great to see some Bahamians out there.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on our couch this morning, and we look forward to seeing so much more from you, so much more medals and all the greatness that you have to offer. And stay with us, guys. We have more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We continue our breakfast plate segment, nutritional hacks, understanding your body, and of course, we need to know if this sunshine is going to last for the rest of the day, and most importantly, into independence. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is our news this morning. Welcome back. I can't believe, Andrew, we're almost at the end of another show. Thanks so much for your company out there this week so far, your company this morning, Andrew. We've got one more day to bring you our news this morning, and it's already starting to feel a little bittersweet.
Yes, Nakia, just one more day, but still so much more to come. It was so good to see Devin on the couch this morning. She's been such a real inspiration for so many athletes with her resilience and her persistence. And you're an athlete yourself, right? You know, former Olympian as well. You know, toot your horn. Do you ever miss it, like getting in the pool?
I do miss it. I'm not sure if anybody wants to see me back in the pool, you know, although I think there's still a chance to call me for Bahamas games for Long Island. I saw the lineup yesterday. I went through it, and I may be able to get a 5th or 6th in there somewhere in the 9 and 10 or 11 and 12 group. But I do miss it. I enjoy it. And like I was talking to Devin about, one of my favorite things about being an athlete is how often I get to wear the Bahamian colors. And, you know, we wore that with pride. We had so many uniforms, and there's nothing like standing on the podium and hearing your national anthem. I miss that most.
I know it must be such an honor. I tip my hat to you because I couldn't do it.
And we have so many great athletes. So we're winding down, but we hope you'll join us one last time tomorrow for our final broadcast of Our News This Morning. We get your day started bright and early at 6:30 right here on channel 212 and Our News Facebook page.
This next installment of Our Moments, brought to you by the Bahamas Independent Secretariat, puts a spotlight on the development of the city of Freeport, which began decades before majority rule or independence. And a special good morning to all our viewers in Grand Bahama.
Good morning. The island is home to a very unique economic arrangement. Here's Jerome Sawyer with a look at the making of the Magic City.
When American businessman Wallace Groves purchased the Abaco Lumber Company in Pine Ridge in 1946 for £50,000 and sold it in 1954 for $4 million in cash, he used the profits to develop Freeport. The following year, the Hawksbill Creek Agreement was signed by Groves and the government to establish the city, a free trade zone in Grand Bahama. The new Grand Bahama Port Authority would develop the city and the port of Freeport, exempt from income, capital gains, real estate, and private property taxes until 1985. That was extended for a further 49 years to 2054. When the PLP won the majority rule in 1967 and again in 1968, the Hawksbill Creek Agreement was a source of contention for the new government. The 1968 White Paper on Local Government suggested decentralized government from Nassau. The Hawksbill Creek Agreement was identified as an exception. On July 26, 1969, Lyndon Pinling gave his famous bend or break speech at the opening of the Borco refinery. In part, he said, Bahamians are nevertheless still the victims of an unbending social order, which, if not now refuses to bend, must be broken. Freeport's original concept as an international trading post began to diversify with the construction of the Lucayan Beach and the Bahamas Princess hotels. In the 60s, established the island as a premier tourist destination. The 70s saw a surge in industry, cement manufacturing, bunkering terminal, and the Bahamas Oil Refinery Company. When Sir Jack Hayward and Edward St. George took over the Port Authority in 1976, they made a son of the soil, Sir Albert Miller, president. 2 years later, the three bought out Wallace Groves and ushered in what is described as a remarkable growth period over the next 25 years. At Sir Albert's retirement in 2003, St. George said, in those 30 years, he has done more than fulfilled our expectations. Without him, we could not have achieved what we did. Freeport hit another growth spurt in the 1990s under Hubert Ingram's Free National Movement government. The Maritime Center, Container Port, Freeport Harbor, Bradford Marine, the Grand Bahamas Shipyard, the Lucaia and Pelican Bay resorts opened in that period. Unfortunately, the 2000s delivered a series of devastating hurricanes to Grand Bahama, which have helped to stunt the island's economic growth. Francis, Jean, Wilma, and more recently, Dorian.
Well, that was quite a history lesson. And you know, Andrew, my favorite part, well, one of my favorite parts, because being back on here with you guys has been my favorite, but one of my favorite parts is these special independent segments that we're doing on Our Morning News. I've really enjoyed them and learned a lot from all of them.
I totally agree. I mean, I was just going to say that I've been thoroughly enjoying them, and I learned so much. I mean, it's things that you know, but then again, there's so much that you don't know.
Right.
And so I'm so glad that, you know, we've been doing this, so kudos to the team.
Yeah, very important to have that look as we head to our 50th. Yeah.
Exactly.
So we've been learning a lot from nutritionist Donovan Ingram about mindful eating the past few days, and this morning we wrap our What's on Your Breakfast Plate segment with the nutritionist, and I'm kind of sad to see it end.
Oh, but back with us for a final look at What's on Your Breakfast Plate, our correspondent Danielle Miller. Danielle.
I'm too, Nikia. I'm so sad to see this segment end, and I hope, though, his words will leave a mark on everybody's mind, and make sure you remember to keep mindful eating at the top of your list. During our final conversation, Donovan gave us advice on how many times you should see a nutritionist a year, and his final words to me and you. He said, I don't want that to be me.
Right.
I don't want to become older and have a doctor telling me what to eat. Having all this freedom now on what I could eat, what I choose not to eat. Like, I want to continue that freedom up until, like, I leave this earth.
Yeah.
So tell us exactly, because the job of a nutritionist is not something that is commonly heard of in the country. We'll be honest.
Right.
Why do you, and I don't, no bias.
Right.
Do you think it is vital for persons to invest in a nutritionist?
I agree. I think it is 100% very vital to see a nutritionist at least once a year, just like you would see a physician for your annual physical. We encourage you to do your annual physicals regularly, but on top of that, invest in seeing a nutritionist even just once a year can make a big difference. In fact, something you said just now resonated with me in the sense that, you know, no one wants to be bored with food. No one wants to be limited in terms of the foods they want to consume. Meeting with your nutritionist helps you to merge the things that you like with the things that are more healthier. And there might be things that you're already doing healthy and needs to be kind of enhanced, you know? And whereas there may be things that you're doing unhealthy. Maybe it's the beverage you're choosing. Maybe it's the lack of food consumption. And that's a big issue in the Bahamas. Meeting with a nutritionist helps to guide you, gives you the best advice, and ensures that you have all the tools needed to be healthier and happier.
Now, I have to throw this in here. A lot of people feel like they can eat what they want because they're in the gym.
Right.
I could eat this because I could burn this off in the gym.
Right.
Is that a myth?
That is somewhat of a myth. It's all based on body types, to be honest with you. The ectomorph body type, those slim, narrow, long limb, long legs, narrow torso individuals, they have a higher metabolism, a better affinity to eat whatever they want, burn it off, and never put on weight. And that's just their mechanism, their body mechanism. Whereas most of the Bahamians that we know, maybe our aunts, uncles, relatives, are more endomorph body types. And those endomorph body types are the rounded individual, pear-shaped, apple-shaped. No, you're not. Big arms, bigger hips and thighs. And those individuals have a high affinity that whatever they put into their body is going to kind of stack on and stay there. So you have to be mindful of what it is you're consuming, how you're consuming it, making sure that you're not missing a meal, making sure the fruits and vegetables are present, and ensuring that you're hydrated thoroughly throughout the day. In fact, the larger the individual, the more water you need to consume. It no longer is that myth of 8 glasses of water is enough, you know. In fact, some individuals have a higher affinity for water consumption, and they may need up to 10 to 12 glasses of water per day, and that's an 8-ounce glass per serving.
Now, y'all don't mind me sitting here today. Once upon a time ago, I was rosy and I was round. So I is that body type, what he was speaking about. But I appreciate you so much, Donovan, for taking time out in the mornings to teach us exactly how to eat healthy, what to put in our body, what is good for us early in the morning, and giving us that advice. And if I can add, be sure to reach out to Donovan as your nutritionist to see once a year, as well as you gymming about 4 times a week, eh?
Or any nutritionist. And in fact, yes, we want to encourage you, put on a fitness tracking device. If that means getting some form of exercise, making sure that you get 10,000 steps per day, that's the bare minimum you can do, even if it doesn't mean going to the gym, you know. But also, it starts with whatever you put into your mouth is going to affect your body.
Nice way to end. Again, I echo Donovan's advice. Please ensure that you see a nutritionist at least once a year. It really does the body well. And also, make sure you go out there, you move, you stay fit, and you stay healthy. Thank you so much, Bahamas.
Oh, thanks for that, Danielle and Donovan. They've really been keeping us on track with those tips and those tricks on staying healthy and eating healthy.
They sure have. And so just feel free to always reach out to Donovan. You can always do that.
Yeah, right. I'll get on top of that because he was really great with us this week, and I do need to reach out to nutritionists every once in a while.
Well, sunny skies continue in the capital this morning. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is back with an extended forecast. Greg.
Starting to warm up. We're starting to see some sun out there. Of course, temperatures are now moving into the 80s. We expect very warm temperatures today. And of course, it's going to be a nice beach day, but we're asking you to, if you have those plans for the outdoors, make sure you drink lots of liquids and take some breaks, as it's going to get very, very warm today. On our satellite, ridge of high pressure is still dominating our weather to the northeast of the Bahamas, and that ridge will continue to stay in place over the next couple of days. Eventually, this ridge will slide out towards the east and bring us some nice weather. But of course, over the next several days, we expect temperatures to be managing to get into the 90s during the daytime hours. Planning on doing any boating, it's going to be nice out there on the waters. The winds will be out of the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots in the northwest Bahamas. Seas will be running 2 to 4 feet. A caution flag still for you in the southeast Bahamas, and those winds will be east to southeast as well, but they will be stronger, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Over the next couple of days, warm temperatures expected once again, and into our holiday weekend, we may see a smattering of a couple of showers, but Independence Day looks pretty nice for Monday. Back to you guys.
Well, thanks so much. It really has brightened up out there. I'm so sorry you can't see it that well. You know, the rain gave us a little challenge here with these fogged up windows, but it's so beautiful out there. I'm sure you guys can see it on your commute.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll have a better view tomorrow.
Yes.
The big guy helps us out.
Yes. And now to our next Independence special called Our People, brought to you by the Bahamas Independence Secretariat.
The series continues with the story of Salathiel Thompson. Let's take a look.
Originally from Bannerman Town, Eleuthera, Salathiel Thompson completed schooling in Nassau, joining the police force in 1937. The following year, he was posted to CID, where he remained for 15 years. He moved up the ranks from constable to sergeant, then on to prosecuting sergeant from 1953 to 1955. It was then on to the police training school until 1957. And soon, Thompson was off to a prosecutor's course in Jamaica. On returning to Nassau, it was back to the court for a stint. By the time he entered gazetted ranks, Mr. Thompson's first post was officer in charge of the Southern Division, later to Central Division. In 1965, he was promoted to superintendent in charge of New Providence. Next came a stint as officer in charge of Grand Bahama. He was transferred between the island and Nassau several times. On June 1st, 1973, he was appointed commissioner, the first Bahamian commissioner in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Within his decorated career, he received the Colonial Police Service Award, the Queen's Police Medal, presented during Her Majesty's visit to Nassau in 1985. He would later earn the Companion of the Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George in 1978. He was also awarded the Bahamas Order of Merit. Salathiel Thompson died on October 21st, 2020, at the age of 84.
Great segment. Well, guys, we are at the end of another newscast.
Already. It's been a wonderful one for me. It's been, I've had a pleasure being back here.
Yeah. It's been really fun, and you guys look great in your Bahari, by the way, and love the colors. Looking good.
And I didn't know that I was amongst so much of my peers. being an athlete myself, Nakia.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
I am. I run my mouth very well.
You gotta stand, Danny. You gotta stand, Danny. Well, guys, that does it for us in our news this morning.
Remember, our last broadcast live from Margaritaville is tomorrow. So remember to set your alarms to 6:30 to get your day started, informed, and inspired.
Yes, tune into channel 212 and the Our News Facebook page. On behalf of all of us here at the morning crew, I'm Nakia DeVoe Christie. We can't wait to see you tomorrow. We have a great show for you tomorrow. Don't miss it. Bye, everyone.